This is Jocko Underground Podcast, number 54. Echo Charles sitting here with me. This is actually for some reason you were asking about this. Mm-hmm. This topic of the day. The topic is alpha, beta, gamma. I think gamma, omega, delta, and sigma humans. Male, female. Yeah. Had you ever heard, I think you mentioned to me, you saw online or something, you were reading about the sigma male. Yeah. This sigma is like the new one, right?
That's what I thought at the time, yes.
So I didn't really know too much about the sigma. Of course, everyone hears, the alpha. Everyone hears that. So you just say, hey, what are these things? So I figured we'd look into them a little bit. These terms were almost solely used to describe animals up until the 1990s. So there was, back in the day, they didn't use these. And there's a book that came out in 1982 called Chimpanzee Politics by Franz de Waal, which suggested that maybe some of these categories could be applied to human beings. And then in the 1990s, and this is from Wikipedia, so take that for what it's worth. Dove deep on the research, plugged it into Wikipedia, see what we get. 1990s term used to describe, quote, manly men that are successful in business. And then there's, of course, a whole thing about these same terms used to describe females. So I had heard of alpha. I had heard of beta. Mm-hmm. I hadn't heard of gamma. I hadn't heard of omega. I hadn't heard of delta. And you kind of chimed me in on the whole sigma phenomenon. Do you think the sigma is what people want to be? Or does everyone just want to be alpha?
I feel like Sigma's at the end of the day, trend. You'll go into what each one is. I feel like everyone wants to be alpha, but some
Sigma's
people,
like a poor man's alpha.
Yeah, like a poor man, like an introvert. Alpha is like he'll take charge, he'll make calls, he'll talk to anybody, whatever. Right. The sigma is like he's introvert and shy and stuff. And then so he kind of, I don't know, like kind of embraces that whole thing, kind of like a quiet freaking alpha or something.
So alpha, here's some descriptions. Alpha is supposed to be dominating and charismatic, the born leader, understands his priorities and always utilizing his time. That's the alpha. The beta is modest and easygoing, ideal husband type. Works a lot but is overshadowed by his peers. The gamma is introverted and super sensitive. I don't think I fall in the category of super sensitive.
Super insensitive.
The yes man at the office is the gamma. Mm. Has big plans but lacks determination and focus. Gamma. Next one is Omega. Well, there's a movie called Omega Man. I wonder why it's called that.
Omega Man?
Yeah. This person is skillful and self-sufficient, the odd one in the wolf pack, laid back, not chasing success or money.
Huh. So like the artsy type or something?
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like.
Actually, they don't even really talk about that. They don't even talk about like which one of these has some creative aspect to them, as opposed to like the big five, which is open-mindedness, and those people tend to be more creative. Mm. Next one is Delta, modest and hardworking, wants attention but can't get it, works hard but unable to draw attention. And then the Sigma. This is the latest and greatest edition.
Hell yeah.
Super smart and extremely attractive. The manipulative mastermind. He is super ambitious and his own boss. So there you go, dude. I don't even know, like, do we even need to go any further on these things? Because it's like they're just some basic kind of personality stereotypes, right? Isn't that basically what they are?
Yeah.
Just some basic stereotypes, like and then that's that.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, kind of similar to like a horoscope kind of scenario where, people want to. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about this for myself. I don't know. But every once in a while, where you'll fall into it and you wonder, what? Given this category or this criteria, like who am I, right? Then you kind of look at it, and if I have a cool name, alpha, beta, gamma. Gamma doesn't sound cool. I don't know why.
Wait,
but,
do you think beta sounds cool?
No, beta doesn't sound cool either. Actually, I had a fish called a beta. You know
what's
beta
funny is you
fish
actually have a name, Echo.
Yeah. That's gonna be the new
kind
one.
of in there.
The
huh?
new hot.
He's an Echo male. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Means he presses record.
Freaking copycat or something. I don't know. Whatever. But sigma sounds cool. Delta sounds cool. Omega sounds cool. I guess beta gamma doesn't sound that cool. That's just my opinion. Alpha, of course.
Okay, so you're just going on name.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, hey, yeah, I'm a delta. It's like I don't know if this is a natural thing. Maybe not. But you know how like people who are into astrology or whatever, their horoscope, they're like, yeah, I'm a Sagittarius, so therefore I this and that. Or he's a Leo, so this. And it's, I think at some level, I don't know, it feels good to be like in a sort of category.
I mean, that's why like people do their genetic test and they're like, I am a Native American, and they're like 0.0, or like I'm Viking or whatever. Like they do that and they're like kind of, hey, I'm Scots Irish. I was, a Highlander. Like people get into that kind of stuff. And
I wonder why that. Like maybe it's because this is just off the top of you saying it in that voice made me kind of think of like, oh yeah, like if this alpha, not alpha is like obvious, but let's say sigma, for example, right? It's like, hell yeah, that's a cool name for that kind of person. And then it's like, yeah, I'm a sigma, I'm super smart, I'm extremely attractive, I'm a mastermind that can be manipulative.
You know what, people start to try and fulfill the prophecy, right? A little bit like, oh, I'm an alpha. Like, I'm a woman could dominate this room. Yeah. And there's no one that's like, hey, I'm going to be more beta. In fact, they're running away from beta. They're like, wait a second. A beta's modest. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be a beta. I'm going to be, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
The sigma, since I pulled some traits for the sigma male. It says he loves being alone, but he values other people. He's a silent leader. What's interesting about that is I talk a lot about being a silent leader as a goal. Yeah. Because if you're doing everything right as a leader, you shouldn't have to say too much and the team's already getting it done. Yeah. Call that the silent leader. This is a little bit different, but...
Yeah, this is more like a personality thing more so than a leading.
He knows how to adapt to different situations. He treats everyone around. I think this is the selling. They're selling the sigma on this one. Yeah. Is the sigma male the person that's not quite alpha, but then they're kind of coming up with their own new thing?
That's what it felt like to me. And keep in mind, I didn't read about this. I watched YouTube videos. They kept popping up about the sigma male. And once you click on one, you see,
He treats everyone around him the same way. He doesn't need a social circle to be himself. Yeah, these are all super affirming, right? He understands the importance of silence. He is morally gray or worse. That's a little bit of a negative, right? He hates living safely. I'm an adventurer. His social skills could use some work. He's incredibly because this isn't all positive. But you know what? That gives a little bit. Let's say you're socially awkward and you're trying to buy into this. You're like, well, I'm more of a sigma.
That's what I thought.
That's why I'm super awkward.
Or like, so public speaking, for example, or speaking in large groups or whatever is like an anxiety-inducing thing for a lot of people. Yep. So that's like, the alpha would never say that. Right?
Yeah.
Alpha doesn't care about it. Yeah, I'll
talk to anybody.
But man, sometimes it's like, man, you kind of can't help it. So it's like, hey, instead of just saying I'm an alpha, why don't I just say I'm a sigma?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's on purpose.
I don't like to get up in front of crowds.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that because I'm incredibly self-aware, which is another thing. And I'm a master of my own fate, which is another thing. Yeah. And I could be an alpha if I wanted to. That's the last thing it says. He could be an alpha if he wanted.
That's what it felt like.
It sounds like someone created Sigma recently. I should do a little more research and find out who created Sigma. It's probably some dude that's a little bit shy, that feels a little bit insecure, that he knows he can't just say I'm a alpha, so he just made up this other thing over here called the Sigma, Sigma male. So like I said, man, as far as I'm concerned, these are just basically a bunch of stereotypes. I don't know how much time we want to waste on this, but here's one thing that I will take away from this. Each one of these things, look, you could have a bunch of these different characteristics as one person, and you most likely do, right? You most likely have some of these characteristics from each one of these categories. And I think what the important thing to do is to, and I've talked about this before, know what your tendencies are, right? So know what your tendencies are. And if you know what your tendencies are, if you know that you... that is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.